A merchant is traveling through the vast expanse of the desert. He has provisions, a strong horse, and the quiet confidence of a man who understands exactly how his world works. He is perfectly at ease. Look at this archival photograph of a desert caravan. It shows the scale of the trade empires that moved across these sands. With resources like this, you can buy protection, map every reliable oasis, and calculate your risks. Wealth creates a very convincing shield against the unpredictable dangers of the wilderness. He stops to rest near a clear fountain beneath a large walnut tree. He opens his bag, pulls out some bread and dates, and begins to eat. When he finishes a date, he casually spits out the pit, tossing it onto the parched ground beside him. In this moment, the merchant is the picture of security. He has no reason to think that a piece of fruit could be a death sentence. To him, the world is a predictable place where caution provides total protection, and a falling date pit is just a piece of trash hitting the dirt. The wind suddenly picks up, the ground beneath the merchant begins to shake, and from a massive cloud of dust, a towering Genie appears. He holds a drawn sword and levels an impossible accusation at the merchant. "You killed my son, and now you must die." This flowchart illustrates the mechanics of an involuntary act. We start with a completely neutral action, tossing a date pit. But out in the world, that action collides with an invisible variable, the Genie's son, who happened to be standing exactly where the pit landed. The result is a direct, unavoidable line to total catastrophe. The merchant tries to explain. He offers money, he offers logic, he pleads his innocence. But as the diagram shows, the normal pathways of negotiation are entirely blocked. His wealth is useless here. The Genie demands strict, unyielding retaliation, blood for blood. Facing immediate execution, the merchant makes one final, desperate bargain. He asks for exactly 1 year to return home, divide his property, and say goodbye to his family. The Genie agrees to the delay, but the merchant is bound by nothing but his spoken word to return to this exact spot. Fate doesn't care about your bank account or your intentions. It operates in a vacuum, capable of stripping away every layer of earthly power you possess in an instant. All the merchant has left is the weight of his own promise. Look at the dense, ornate city architecture in this photograph. This is the merchant's sanctuary. He returns from the vast, unpredictable desert to the high walls and crowded streets of his home. He is physically safe, but that physical safety is an illusion. He is trapped in a brutal psychological paradox. Every meal he eats, every night he sleeps in his own bed, is tainted by the ticking clock of his impending execution. The year slips away. He drafts his will, settles his debts, and divides his estate. And his family has to watch this agonizing process play out day after day, mourning a man who is still sitting right across from them at the dinner table. Living with the precise knowledge of the date and time of your own death does something terrible to the human mind. It takes the very place built to protect you and transforms it into a psychological prison. The year ends. The merchant stands at the edge of the city. There are no magical chains pulling him back to the desert. He has a fast horse and enough money to run in the opposite direction. The only thing binding him to his death is his honor. This dual pain visual compares the two defining actions of our story. On the left, we have the date pit, a random external accident driven by pure chance. On the right, we have the return journey. This is a highly deliberate, internal choice made with full awareness of the consequences. He is at a stark moral crossroads. If he runs, he survives physically, but breaks his oath, destroying his own spiritual integrity. If he honors his word, he dies. Choosing the path of true integrity requires an immense exertion of human agency. He chooses his word. He saddled his horse, leaves his weeping family behind, and rides back out into the massive, empty sand dunes, entirely alone. He is terrified, but his resolve holds. Human agency is expressed through the terms of our own integrity. By returning to the desert, the merchant transforms himself from a victim of a random accident into the architect of his own moral character. He shows that when fate demands our life, we still possess the power to choose how we hand it over. Look at the harsh contrast in this photograph of the desert dunes. The merchant arrives back at the fountain, sitting exactly where he was a year ago. The visual weight of the desert around him captures his total vulnerability and extreme isolation as he waits for his executioner. But then the timeline fractures. He is suddenly joined by an old man leading a deer. Then another old man with 2 black dogs arrives, followed by a third. They hear his story and refuse to leave his side, introducing unpredictable human variables into a supposedly sealed fate. The sky darkens. The Genie bursts from the earth in a pillar of thick smoke. He raises a massive blade high into the air, fully prepared to strike the merchant down and collect his debt. Right before the blade falls, the first old man steps forward. He offers a trade. If he can tell a story so astonishing that it impresses the Genie, the monster must forgive 1/3 of the merchant's life. The Genie lowers his sword. He is a creature of absolute wrath, but he is also curious. He listens, and in doing so, he proves that even the most rigid, unyielding decree of fate can be paused and negotiated through the simple act of sharing human experiences. We will all drop a deep pit at some point. We will all trigger chains of events we cannot control, leading to consequences we don't deserve. We cannot control the random mechanics of fate, but our choices in the aftermath, our personal integrity, and the stories we share with the people who stand by us in the dark become our ultimate